is Lynn Klasno. Lynn is the proud Gold Star mother of Sergeant Reese Klasno, killed in Iraq on Mother's Day 2007. Prior to moving to Texas, she started the Inland Empire chapter of American Gold Star Mothers. She served as president of that chapter and first vice president of the Southern California Hawaii Department of the National Gold Star Mothers Organization. She now serves as president of the Houston chapter. Lynn also serves as secretary to Gold Star Dads of America, a nonprofit organization founded by her husband, Michael, shortly after Reese's death. The organization is dedicated to surviving veterans and active duty military families. Lynn and Michael have made it a mission as surviving parents and as a couple to encourage other survivors to channel their deep loss into a positive force in the lives of other service members and their families, believing this is the best way to honor the memory of Reese, the sacrifice of others, and to glorify God. Lynn writes a blog about her life as Reese's mom and articles designed to help other parents grieving the loss of a child. You can read her insightful and passionate articles and prayers on lynnklasno.com.
First of all, I want to thank you all for the honor of being able to speak to you, and I do consider it an honor. I do want to recognize my husband, Michael Klasno. He's sitting in the front there. If I didn't say that, Very wise friend of mine once told me, Veterans Day is a day to honor members of the military. Memorial Day is a day to honor the service members who will never get a chance to celebrate their Veterans Day. Not just the start of summer or a day for a big barbecue, Memorial Day is set apart to remember our fallen service members. In 1868, the commander of a veterans group suggested that May 30th be set aside as a somber reminder of the hundreds of thousands of soldiers killed in the Civil War. Some historians suggest that May 30th was selected because it was one of the days on which no Civil War battle had been fought. After America's entry into World War I, the Memorial Day tradition was expanded to include all service members killed in all wars. In 1971, the May 30th date was changed to the last Monday in May. I think that's so everyone can have a 3-day weekend. Memorial Day serves as a sober reminder that many of America's citizens have made the ultimate sacrifice in fighting for the ideals of these United States. But I'm not here to lecture you on how to observe Memorial Day. I'm here as a mom of a fallen soldier, a mom who desperately wants the American public to remember our fallen service members and honor the American tradition of standing up for those who cannot stand alone, fighting for ideals which, if not perfect, are certainly worth fighting for. I remember learning the Pledge of Allegiance early on in grade school. We always said the pledge, and we sang America the Beautiful. Every kid in school knew all the words to both, and although early on we had no idea what allegiance meant, or why we were singing about a fruited plain, we eventually all figured it out. The flag always held a special meaning, although I'm not sure I ever realized how special the U.S. flag was until our son, Reese Klasno, joined the military. Somewhere along the line, the flag became just a routine item in the landscape, its true significance lost in the business of living. In fact, for most of my adult life, I don't remember the flag's comfortable presence on the streets. Then came September 11th, 2001. The flags went up everywhere. Those of us lulled into the comfort that is America woke up. The American flag truly symbolized a national spirit again. It symbolized the fighting, patriotic spirit that built America. It was an awesome thing to behold. Our son Reese felt it too. The events of 9/11 and the country coming together in its grief and its proud heritage had a huge impact on Reese and so many other young men and women. Reese had to wait 3 more years to join the military, But when he joined the California National Guard right out of high school, his dad and I understood. Reese knew what the flag symbolized and what it meant to stand up for an America he believed in. He understood that America and her flag have always represented freedom to an outside world that envied the American dream and longed to be part of it. When Reese was killed in Iraq, the Stars and Stripes developed new meaning for Michael and for me. A polished honor guard folding the flag and a brigadier general handing you that triangle at your son's funeral is an experience you never forget. The Pledge of Allegiance symbolizes a love for country and a duty that Reese understood at such a young age. As we say the pledge, it resonates with us in a way few other symbols can. As the flag flutters in the breeze, it brings a personal pride in America, a country firmly based on the rights endowed to us by God, fought for and built upon the blood of young men and women. There are lots more flags now, or maybe it's just I noticed them a bit more than any other time in my life. All I know is that when the American flag is to me the most beautiful flag in the world. When it flies, all the others pale in comparison. It makes me proud to be an American. I'm equally proud that in this nation we have individuals who recognize that there are causes worth fighting for. I read a wonderful book by Randy Alcorn entitled Safely Home. One of the characters has been denied a position in his chosen profession because of his faith and has figured out that the position that God has chosen for him is most important. When the character learned this lesson, he posted the words of Dr. Martin Luther King on his wall, and I quote, "If a man is called to be a street sweeper, he should sweep streets even as Michelangelo painted, or Beethoven composed music, or Shakespeare composed poetry. He should sweep streets so well that all the host of heaven and earth will pause to say, 'Here lived a great street sweeper who did his job well.'" I thought about that. The Army has an advertising slogan, which I'm sure you've all heard at some point, "Be all that you can be." The message is much the same. Serving your country may not be easy or glamorous. In fact, it's dangerous. The men and women who serve are certainly not in it for the money. But there is a greater and nobler purpose in service to one's country. It's hard to define, but those who get it truly understand. When someone asks you why your hero chose to serve and to die, you give an explanation that seems foreign to the inquirer. Until your eyes are open to the generosity and loyalty, friendship and camaraderie, and personal sacrifice of the people who serve, it's downright difficult to get. But we know and we understand. God's path is like that. In his heart, a man plans his course, but the Lord determines his steps. I was on a path when Reese was killed that I thought might work out perfectly, a midlife change that would maybe make things easier financially. I graduated from law school the week that Reese was killed. Suddenly, the path seemed shallow and rather selfish. Perhaps my goal had more to do with personal pride than with glorifying God. God's plan, usually not completely clear this side of heaven, is perfect every time. He promises us that. Doing our job, whether as a citizen or as a service member, with the most capable effort and joyful spirit, glorifies God. God uses all of us in whatever position to fulfill his perfect plan. Once our eyes are opened, we know. Once we try to be all that we can be, following his word, listening to his call upon our lives, keeping our eyes on the prize that is our heavenly home, we truly understand and we glorify him. We don't need to be famously successful or successfully famous to be perfect in God's economy. Just be all that you can be. We should all be encouraged by our heroes' path and sacrifices. It was a choice made by each one based on our highest ideals. And each service member volunteered, went in with eyes wide open during dangerous times, willing to make the ultimate sacrifice if necessary. I thank you all for taking the time today to recognize the sacrifice of our military fallen. If not remembering individual names, at least remembering to honor them by visiting a national cemetery, laying flowers, or placing a flag on the grave of a service member who will never have the chance to celebrate his or her Veterans Day. Hug your kids a little tighter today and teach them why we remember Memorial Day. Thank you all so much.